Chris Honeycutt, the cut back here on the program. Got a fight come up here at Bellator 182 against King Kevin Casey. Big fight for both guys. This is a very interesting, dynamic, exciting, explosive fight. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this fight breaks out. But Chris and I were talking about me waking up in Hawaii, waking up in paradise, and I was trying to tell him all my sorrows and all my woes, but it wasn't coming out right. It just kept putting my foot in my mouth. So we went to Jack Johnson last night. My wife really wanted to go see him. She begged me like 2 months ago, hey, he's coming in town. He hasn't been here in a long time. Can we go to this concert? I was like, yeah. It's Jack Johnson in Hawaii. Whatever. Like I'll get tickets when I get tickets. So a week before, I'm looking for tickets. They're like $350 for the lawn, like to sit on the grass. I was like, what the hell? Like, yeah, man. Like it. So what happens is they're like $50. But then when you get down to the final two, the price, as it gets less and less, the prices start creeping up, which makes sense. I mean, I get it. It's supply and demand. So I had to start scrambling and calling for a friend to figure out how to get tickets. I finally got tickets. I got seats. They're reasonably priced. I paid early face value, but I didn't realize like how big of a deal it is. Jack Johnson being on the island, like it's a big deal. And I didn't. It's not my. He's from here. This is a charity event. He comes down here and raises a bunch of money for local charities. Like this is a big deal. I'm an idiot, man. I didn't know. So we go out last night, and of course I scheduled for Friday night, not realizing she has to work at 7 this morning. So we're out, and so I woke up this morning. I'm like, wow, this really sucks. Like I really don't want to get up right now, but I gotta take her to work. So I get up, and I'm literally talking to my son who's in New York, and I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to complain to him about having to get up early. He's like, shut up, like you're just. Yeah, what are you looking at right now? The ocean? What are you looking at? I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. So I can't complain, which made me realize that my days are not the same. They're not like I change. My days aren't always the same thing every day. In training camp, your days are exactly the same every day for the most part, right?
Oh yeah. If anything, that's the hard part. Is just it's such repetitive. It's like I kind of just fall into like a circle, and you just gotta remind yourself to always push yourself during training because it's just such a repetitive. Oh, you get tired, you sweat, you do the extra, 25, 30-minute speed bag jump rope, and then, off to the protein shake and lunch you go, and then you just repeat the process. But, like last night I went to a comedy festival, so that kind of helps mix things up a little bit, give me a little bit of a break from just continuous, the complete circle. And then I went to a movie this past week, which kind of breaks it up a little bit. So
I was going to ask you how you stay sane. You gotta like
yeah. That's how I stay, especially being here in Fresno. It's 105, 108 degrees. I mean, it's easy to go psycho just in general.
yeah, just being normal, and then now adding getting punched in the face and kicked in the legs, every
Right,
day.
and then you're sore, and it's like you got to be productive in the afternoons. When girlfriend comes home and she wants to do something, it's like it's too hot. I'm irritable. I'm sore. I'm tired. I don't want to do anything. And the dogs are just sitting there breathing in your face with all that hot air, and you're like, I'm about to just lose my wit here in a moment. So let's go laugh or something.
So you got a way to beat the repetitive nature, but you also still have to find a way to stay physically fresh enough and mentally fresh enough to keep continuing to progress throughout training camp, which most people don't really stop to think about. Training camp, you have to progressively get better throughout camp. You don't walk into camp on week 1 and by week 8 or week 10 or week 12 be the same. You obviously are better, but it's not just physical shape. You have to be better mentally too, right? To get ready for these fights.
Of course, yeah. As the fight camp goes on, I watch more and more video. I start honing in on exactly what I'm planning to do and get better at that. As soon as I get involved in fighting, as soon as fighting camp starts, I kind of stop trying to get better as an overall fighter, and I try to focus on the parts that I'm going to need more. It's not a huge transition. I mean, I'm pretty good on the ground. I'm pretty good at wrestling and controlling people, but I believe Kevin Casey's a brown belt, so I do brush up on getting out of submissions in case he actually, is able to get a good attempt. It's already reflex to kind of, get out of a triangle or an armbar or whatever. But, he's not real, from the videos that I watch, he's not real good at taking people down. He's more or less tries to pummel up against the cage and waits for his opportunity. And I feel like I'm going to be a bigger, stronger guy now that I haven't fought in 8-9 months and I've been lifting weights a lot since I'm basically as much as I was when I was in college. So I've kind of gotten girthy again. I mean, I'm walking around a solid 205, 208 now. So I should be able to cut down to 185 and be kind of like what I was at 170.
So in the 8 or 9 months you put on, like you said, you've been lifting as much as you did back in college. How much actual solid weight? Because we both know you could be, oh yeah, I'm 205, but really 15 pounds of it is because you had, you've been eating hamburgers and burritos. Even though you are girthier, but you're not that much physically bigger. Are you really physically stronger than you were, just 8 months ago?
I'm obviously don't lift weights like I did in college. I lift weights as much. I mean, I'm not benching, 315 pounds, 275. I mean, there's in MMA with the 15 minutes of fighting. I mean, there's just no reason for it. So I typically bench between 30 and 60 pounds, and I'm doing sets between 50 and 100 and 125-ish, depending on if it's lighter weight or not. Just trying to just murder the same muscles, the same idea, just with reps versus um, heavy amounts of weight. I'm not trying to get humongous like I was in college, but I'm trying to be shredded. Probably more of like a Tyrone Woodley way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It actually completely makes sense. But now you have this issue. You were having a hard time making weight at 170, so you move up to 85. But now you put yourself in a position where almost you're at that limit again, where you're going to start having a hard time making weight again. So you understand what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I've cut weight my whole life. Even in college, I wrestled 197. I still had to cut weight to make that. So I feel like if I'm not cutting any weight, then there's something wrong because I just it's good to go in there bigger than the weight class. I don't think it's going to be anything like going on to 170. I mean, 170. The only reason why I'm not at 170 is because the doctors were telling me that it was, I was on the verge of falling into a coma or some bull crap. But
I mean, I don't know why it took, and this is typical of all athletes. I'm not picking on you, especially the wrestlers. Like we all have that same mentality. But if you just looked at pictures of yourself, this is what you looked like when you showed up 5 days before the fight. This is what you looked like when you weighed in, and then this is what you look like fight night. You would go, yeah, I got to change weights. I can't. This is not good.
no. I got Instagram's got one of those cool apps that you can take a picture and you put a collage. And I got the picture of day before cutting the weight, going into cutting weight, leaving cutting weight, going into weigh-ins, and then like 2 hours after weigh-ins, 8 hours after weigh-in, and then the next day. And you could just see it.
Like,
boom! And then
that
was the last time I made 172. And 6 days after I made 170, the last time I made with welterweight, I was 220. My body just was like, hold.
Yeah, nothing's getting out of here.
No relief. And it's like 50 pounds in 6 days. And then that was the fight where I was going to fight 6 weeks apart because I actually got a good victory. So I was able to get back on the books right away. And I'm just like, there is no way that I'm going to do that myself. Because truth be told, man, I know how to cut weight. I've cut weight my whole life. I am a wrestler. And I just need to do things right. And it takes, for me to get down to 170 the right way, it takes me 7 to 9 weeks or so. Because I got to get my body prepped for it, to train for it, so that I'm not actually putting myself in real harm's way. The problem is, but now that I'm 85, it's like I hated my life for 3 years or whatever. It's like I was basically putting myself through human torture just for the sole fact of because I can and I would be just a little bigger than the other guy. But I feel like I'm still a pretty big 85er now. I mean, maybe not so much in height, but I'm definitely just as strong, if not stronger, than most guys.
And it's a game. It really is the game now. It's completely changed, and it's been, and really, I got to put it back on California with Commissioner Andy Foster, where he changed the weight cutting rules for California. So when you have the dehydration test, you're only allowed to put on 10% of your body weight after weigh-in. Like they have all these rules now when you fight in California for how the weight goes. And it's interesting to see how it's changed. A lot of guys have been like, you know what, I'm tired of cutting weight. I'm moving up if I want to stay in. And honestly, I think you'll have a longer career because you moved up. You will be fighting. You probably give yourself 5 more years because you moved up a weight class. And that's a big deal. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of earning time and power that you have.
Oh, definitely huge. And I think what makes it easier is I'm not the only one. Everyone's doing it. I mean, what really discouraged me from 185 is when I went to corner Koscheck in one of his UFC fights, and at the time, Weidman was the champ, and I went over and just stood next to him just to kind of get an idea, and I was like, he dwarfs me at the time. I mean, but now, just with everything changing in the sport, from what I see him in the last few fights, he's not as big. He doesn't seem as big, at least. And just like Johnny Hendricks and all them, it's just like it's all kind of more. The picture's kind of more narrow. And I don't know if that's just because my ability's gotten that much better, so now I have just more confidence in fighting. But I go down and work out Luke Rockhold sometimes, and it's just like, yeah, I can hang with these guys for sure. So
it's also a part of it too is that you have had serious rounds in. You've had some serious times in. Where before, when you first saw Weidman, you were just getting started. You really didn't have that much time in the canvas. So like now you got more reps, and you're like, okay, well, that size really doesn't make that much of a difference. Plus, seeing Weidman crack a little bit, seeing him like, oh wow, he is human. For a while he was kind of inhuman. Like he beat the best of all time, Anderson Silva, and all of a sudden you're like, this guy is like unstoppable. Then you see him get a little chink in his arm. You're like, oh, okay, well, he's human too. I can kind of pull it off. I would have, if I was fighting in the rules today, I would have to fight at 85. This is just how it works. Like I would not be able to fight at 170 at 5'10".
I feel like the only state that would allow me to make 170 is Connecticut. They're the only ones where I went there. I was cut weight, and they kind of gave him. I mean, they got a real strict commission too. By all means, I'm not saying that they're like real lenient. He talked for, I can't remember his name, but he talked for a good hour and a half about how they're leading the crackdown on unsafe cutting weight, getting rid of the whole IVs and all that stuff. So, but they never really gave me any problems. Maybe I cut weight pretty well that last fight that I did there. Like I said, 6 days later I was 220, so my body definitely didn't want to do it. But
no, it's smart, man. It's smart all the way around. It's better health, better longevity. Now I'm looking at guys my age that retired already, and we're looking at the guys that cut weight. We're all kind of injured up and beat up, which is normal for me in contact sport, but even more so because we had all these dehydration sessions, and yeah, it's just a mess. It's a wreck. Like I think you're much smarter being up at 85.
Well, that's a flip of a coin too. I mean, I took my first loss. I mean, I was going in there afraid. I was afraid to get touched in the head. Because I was drinking water. Like the moment weigh-ins were over until 5 p.m. the next day, and I was actually losing weight. I was going to the bathroom faster than I could drink it, and I felt like I was going to throw up the whole time because I was trying to keep every ounce of water in my body and try not to throw back up. I just couldn't get my body hydrated fast enough, and that was the only time that's ever happened to me. Typically, my body does it accepts it very easily, and I bloom back up real quick. I went from 170 to 190. By the time the fight came around, I was like 182. And I'm typically 188, 189 going in there. So that's a good 6-7 pounds of fluid.
Huge amount. But it's also, too, while they stop doing all the IVs, while they stop doing all that stuff, because it's really going to force guys to have to make a real hard decision. Do I stay on a tight food diet the entire time, the entire year? Or do I move up a weight class and not have to cut as much weight? And it's a tough decision, man. It's a tough decision.
Yeah, I can fight 155 with an IV. You just sit there and get hydrated.
Yeah. Just blow in 3 bags into each arm. Just blow them in.
All you got to do is not die cutting the weight, and you're good.
Yeah. And that's sad because that is literally our thought process. That's the thought process that a lot of fighters go through. Like, as long as I don't die making weight, if I can get an IV in me, I'll be okay. Which is why the commission stopped IVs, which is one of the reasons. It makes sense. You're like, okay, yeah, I gotta stop putting this crap in.
And I feel like that was making it easier for people to cheat. They were doing it the right way. People weren't doing it the right way. They're just like, I'll just do it all tomorrow, or I'll do it in the week before the fight. I'll just cut to 32 pounds. It's like that takes like 7, 8, 9 weeks so that you don't fall over and don't wake up.
Yeah, and that's we got to stop that. We can't have that happening. So
yeah, it's gonna happen for it.
Well, Chris, man, thanks for coming on here. I appreciate it. I know it's hot as crap outside, and you're sitting outside, so I won't keep you.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's actually not too bad today. It's we got a little bit of clouds in the sky. I think it's like 90 something,
I was just going to say, what is it, 95?
like 93, 95. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's not that bad. It's only 95. We're good. Like, look. All right, man. Have a great rest of your training camp. Have a great rest of your time. For me, this fight's going to be great. I think for me, this is one of the best fights on the entire card. It really is. Because both you guys are going to try to do action.
He's an athlete. Yeah, he's an athlete. So, I've been working big on my cardio and getting my hands and working on southpaw. So, I feel like come round 2, round 3, he should be ready. He should be looking for a way out. He's not been known to have a big gas tank.
Yeah, no, that's always been his biggest complaint. The biggest flaw that he has in his game is that his gas tank has always been very small, but he's also very muscular, which is difficult as well. It's hard to keep a lot of gas when you have that much muscle on. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
You got it, Chris, man. Have a great rest of your camp, man. We'll talk later.